A very good morning and welcome to the Fixed Wing Guy channel with me, Stuart Lomas. I hope I find you well on this, what is actually quite a nice day here in Manchester for a change. It's been dreadful the last couple of days, but hey ho, we're moving along. Hoping that the weather's going to maintain good, because considering I can't do anything much about my mum right now, as she's 200 miles away, safe and secure in hospital after a hip operation. I thought I may tomorrow, if the weather's good, go to a classic car show over in Cheshire at a place called Tapton Park, which is a very, very nice venue, but not so nice if it's throwing it down with rain. So more of that to come. If I go, I will do a video and tell you what it was like. What I want to do on this video is something I've been kind of toying with for quite a long time, because I think it's a question that we all should do ask ourselves as watch collectors, watch enthusiasts, or watch obsessives, as Jeffrey McMahon says, which is, why do we buy watches that have multitudes of functions? Let me point out what I mean by this. You know, in effect, all we need is kind of what I'm wearing today, which is my Bulliver Precisionist, the most accurate watch in the world outside an atomic watch stroke clock or whatever. There it is. All it does is tell the time. That's all we need. But that's not enough for us, is it, boys? It's not enough. So what do? We go out and do this kind of thing. We buy GMTs, which is my Marine Militaire Fiddy. If you're me, of course, because I can't afford a Navitimer, or couldn't at the time, we go out and buy a by rotary, which is the rip-off of the Navitimer. A pilot's watch. Why? Because I fly light aircraft. Do I ever use the flight scale around the outside? Do a hell as like. Chronograph. 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 Now, I also own my Seiko, which has a tachymeter around the outside. Now we all know, or assuming we all know, that that is to calculate distance over time. But why do we buy all these things? Have you ever sincerely used your chronograph? And if so, what for? I never go to race meetings where I want to do lap times. You know, I never go to athletics meetings where I want to know how fast Usain Bolt does the 100 meters. If I want to know that, I shall watch the digital clock sponsored by Omega or Rolex or Longines or whoever do that. You know, we buy watches that are just complete and utter folly. They have functions on which we will never use in a month of Sundays, because to the normal person these days, what we're going to use it for? You know, I mean, they are statements of manliness, and that we, as watch collectors, transfer over to that other little niche market, which tends to be for men and men alone. Gadgets. That's what they are, gadgets, because they look complex, they look scientific, they look like items which if you're just a normal mortal human being, you would never dream of understanding or operating. Because why? Because we're the only kind of guys who can deal with that kind of thing. It's nonsense, absolute and utter nonsense. We like things that look shiny and impressive and have got very, very complex looking dials that, you know, when we go to a collector's meeting, personally I don't, but you know, when you go to a collector's meeting, you can say, oh yes, look at this, this will measure time up to 1,000th of a second, and you know, my life's not that complex, I have to say. So I don't really understand why we do what we do, that we have to have these complex dials. I mean, this, you know, like the Navitimer rip-off here, you know, it's got the slide rule around the edge, which, you know, calculates your distance, your flight time, how much fuel you've got left over, how much, you know, how long you're going to stay in the sky before you fall and hit the ground at some appalling rate of speed. It's got a stopwatch and so on and so forth, and I don't use it. You know, I wear it, I like it, but it's pointless to me. So let's just go out and buy plain dial watches, eh? Not a chance. Not a chance in the world, because we love that look of a gadget on our wrist, something that looks so damn impressive and so out of the reach of any mortal person out there, that they could never wrap their head around the complexity that is one of our chronograph watches. I think it's a curse that we all live under, and the only way we can escape from that curse is, well, there are two ways. One, what we do is we say to ourselves, right, not a problem at all, my collection is going to consist solely of chronometers, which fall under COSC regulation, and they will tell me the time to a fraction of a widget's nadger. Or we just buy something which is just plain and simple and elegant, and we will wear when we go out to formal occasions, which of course is a dress watch. So you fall into the camp of your JLCs or your Patek or your Cartier or something like that. So those are your two escape plans from wearing watches which are one thing and one thing alone, and it doesn't matter what you spend on it, whether it's £40, £400, £4,000 or £40,000. It is a gadget, and we buy them because we love gadgets. We may, you know, press the start button on our chronograph once or twice when we first get the watch and watch that major finger sweeping round the dial, and we think, my goodness, that looks impressive. But after that, do we use the function at all? Really? If you do, let me know, because I will be absolutely fascinated. You know, the Rolex Yachtmaster is the prime example. I go to a place called the Isle of Wight here in the UK, which is just off the south coast of Great Britain. And it is home in August to the world's most prestigious sailing festival, featuring a round of the Admiral's Cup. And you get people there who want to be seen, let's say. And they just mingle around in the crowd, sipping their champagne or whatever else the major companies are giving away free, gratis and for nothing. And they're wearing their Rolex Yachtmasters because they believe that's the watch they should wear at Cowes. And yet all the crews on the actual yachts that are doing the racing are wearing things like, you know, G-Shocks or Nauticas or some things like that, things that don't really matter if you fall on the deck and break them, or that they will actually deal quite well with the hurly-burly on top of on the decks, or dealing with the sails on a racing yacht. It is solely the people who are dressed up to the nines, wandering around, sipping their, I think it's Mum's champagne that sponsor Cowes Week on the Isle of Wight. And they wear this watch, and because it is the thing to wear and the image that they want to put forward. I mean, what else would you wear other than a Yachtmaster at Cowes? I mean, you know, fair enough. So let me know if you actually have bought a multi-function watch, even if that multifunction or complication is only a GMT. Do you use it? Do you use it because you happen to have somebody who lives, let's say, in South Africa or Australia or one of the states in America which fall along the international date line, so you do know actually what time it is there, whether you can ring them or not, you know? But I can only see that that is the only real reason why you'd use a GMT. because if you travel, you know, if you're an international business travel, for instance, and you want to ring home, you set your GMT to the home time, and you watch to the time zone that you're actually working in, which is fine. But surely, if you do it that often, if you're working, let's say, on, you know, the east coast of America, and you've travelled from Britain, you know more or less it's 5 hours, so you can calculate backwards, so you'll know what time it is at home anyway. So, and if you do something regularly enough, you will know time zone differences. So let me know if you agree with me. I believe that it is that we fall in the camp that a lot of men do, that we just love gadgets. They are the best thing on the planet, and because watches, the more complex watches, the more complicated the movements, they also can be classified as gadgets, something that we can wear on our wrist slightly, and, you know, excuse me for using this, a little bit like the Apple Watch or an Android Wear watch. It is yet another gadget, you know, and let me know if you disagree. Let me know if you actually use all your functions on your watch, and if you do, what for? What are you doing? That, you know, if you're a pilot like me, if you've got an actual pilot's watch rather than a big pilot like my Parnis Big Pilot, which is just a rip-off of an IWC Big Pilot. The Big Pilot is great because you can see the time really, really easily with a quick glance, and that's what they were designed for. This was designed, or that kind of technology was designed, before planes got really complex and it had all the information in the cockpit that you needed. So, if you've got one of these, let me know if you use it, if you've ever used it, or you just get it because A, you like it, and B, you think it'll look good on your wrist when you turn up at the airfield. Let me know. So that's it for this one. Why do we do what we do? Why do we buy overcomplicated, complex wristwatches, which, you know, we're not going to use? You know, and believe me when I say, nothing that I've said is going to stop me from buying overcomplicated nonsense watches. I'm going to carry on doing it, but let me know your thoughts. Why do we do it? Is it solely that reason I've suggested? Anyway, that's it for this one. Maybe another one today. Got a few ideas milling around. I will, of course, do another video if I go to the Classic Car Show tomorrow. As always, if you want to do a video reply to me, it'd be brilliant. I would love to see and hear what you have to say. Other than that, drop me a note down below in the comments section. I will read every single one, and I will reply to you as well. If you are watching this nonsense for the first time, they're not all as manic as this. Some are, some are not. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, have a look at some of my other videos, and please subscribe. Always lovely to see a new subscriber coming on board, and say hello. Simple as that. So that's it for this one. I'll put all my contact details below. Obviously my email address is readily available now on Google anyway. So that's it for this. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll speak to you again soon. Bye bye.